What is up, everybody? Thank you so much for joining us for the Here's the Deal podcast. My name's Dominic. I want to welcome you guys into this first episode of 2025. It's going to be an awesome ride. We cannot wait for you guys to join us. We have a little bit of a new look in the pod recording studio. And so with that, I want to welcome in my friend and co-host, Kyle King. Kyle, how are you?
I'm well. I'm on this side of the table.
And I'm on this side of the table.
I think I got promoted.
Yep, you are now over there. We are co-equal.
Kind of.
Same in essence, different in function. Kyle, it's the new year.
It is.
And with that being the case and it being the new year, tell us, did you stay up till midnight?
Yes. Had some family in town.
Yep.
My wife's sister. My sister-in-law, brother-in-law, our nieces and nephews. Shout out to the Ebel clan down in St. John, Florida. And they came up here. Yeah, that's their last name. So they were in town. They had a cabin here in the Smokies, and we went down there and we watched the country music version of Bringing in the New Year. Like the Nashville.
Luke Combs was there.
Luke Combs.
Was he really?
Jelly Roll and Luke Bryan and Keith Urban.
All the Lukes.
It was great.
Yeah.
It was good. Yeah, and I was home shortly after that.
Okay.
I left at 12:01 and went home because I wanted to beat all the intoxicated people.
Yeah. Before they beat you.
Yes.
And so
it was a good time. What about you?
Do you
believe in New Year's?
We don't teach our kids about the New Year's Giant.
But they don't ruin it for everybody else.
We don't tell our kids about the New Year's Giant who breaks in and gives them cigarettes.
What is the New Year? Oh.
I'm just playing. And so
he gives them all gym memberships?
Yeah, gym memberships. Yeah. And they're $70 a month. And shout out John McKay, who has one that he will be in for 3 years and can't get out of.
New Year, new him, though.
Yep. And so one of the things is I was at I own a small multi tens of dollars business called Ear Jams LLC.
Proud sponsor of the pod.
Sure. And we had an event up at the top of
the world. Have you grown since last year?
I forgot to tell you. I had knee extensions.
You had a neck extension.
I have really, really long knees right now. It doesn't help me when I'm sitting down, but you would understand. And so me and a team of worthy paid people went to the Sky Bridge, or Sky Park now that it's called, in Gatlinburg, at the longest land-to-land bridge ever. And the only
Sounds legitimate.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think the only thing that matches the Great Wall of China is probably the same size.
But you can't see through the bottom of that.
No, you can't. In some areas. Because of the Huns. And so, but they, I watched Mulan. But they had, we went out there and we did a big silent disco up there. And we were supposed to be out there from, about 9:30 till midnight. And they were all going to walk back across the bridge. They have a great setup up there.
Yeah.
And they're going to walk back across the bridge. And the city of Gatlinburg does a huge drone show and all that kind of stuff. Well, it didn't happen like that. We were there, started at 10 o'clock. Everybody was just going, and they were just dancing, and I don't know who the DJ was, but they were just laying down them sick beats and
partying like it's 1999.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I do not know music, and so my music tastes they stopped at 2004, and so I don't know anything past that. And we were dancing, was great, and then we saw the radar. It said rain, and silent disco headphones don't do good in rain, so we had to cut it short. But it was awesome. We had a fun time. Well, then we pack up, and we're trying to get out of there before the mayhem of Gatlinburg 2. And so we're driving, and I have me and my nephew, Jackson. We are in the car together, and we were talking about life, and I said, isn't this what every teenage boy wants? To just be driving on New Year's Eve with his uncle wearing a picture of a giant dude with a beard on his chest. And this is how you spend New Year's. And while we were talking, we went through the tunnel in Gatlinburg. Mm-hmm. We went in there at 11:59.
Oh.
We came out in a whole new year.
Oh, you time traveled.
I bet I'm part of less than 1,000 people who are in tunnels changing years. I'd like to see those stats, Barna.
Yeah.
And so, but we had New Year's. It was great. We love New Year's. It's my wife's favorite holiday, probably outside of the big ones with God.
Yeah.
But non-God holidays, huge.
Yeah.
It's her favorite one, hands down.
Why do you think?
Clean slate.
Yeah.
A chance to start over, even though it's the same 24-hour period.
Well, sure, and that's what I was telling somebody the other day is like, I mean, technically it's just another day, but there's just something mentally that we are so into this 12-month calendar that when that December 31st hits and then January 1st hits, it feels like it's just a whole new, like I said, like you said, a fresh start and
it does.
Clean slate. It's like we can start all over. It's like well, technically you can do that at any moment.
No, because technically it's a year ago today that we celebrated this day, but there's something about January 1st.
There is.
One matters. And so, I'm here for it. We love it. And so with that come New Year's resolutions.
Yeah.
And, which it is currently at the time of this recording, January 6th.
Didn't realize that
I didn't either. We would like to
fly all the flags at half-mast.
Yeah, half-mast because of January 6th. That I guess now doesn't matter. I guess I don't know because Trump's now going to be president again, and everybody hated him. But January 6th.
So wait, are they doing that stuff today? Are they certifying the results of the election today?
Why are we not watching this live?
Yeah, I have no one's talking about this.
I guess
is it always on January 6th?
You'd have to
date.
It's on January 6th.
Is it always the 6th?
I think so.
We'll find out later.
But I think they do certify the election today, which would mean Kamala Harris has to certify the election. Donald Trump.
Be interesting.
And so, but I'm impartial.
We are impartial.
We are but dust. My favorite verse in. Hear that? So
anyway,
with having,
so we're almost a week into the new year.
So every resolution's been broken by this point. It's like brackets, brackets in college basketball.
Yeah.
You go, after the first
college football now.
or college football. Oh man, everything's broken. So
we have the top 4 teams all lost.
Yep. And so now for us, we go. I guess our resolutions are done. And you throw out your bracket, but resolutions are a big thing, and people make resolutions. Did you make any resolutions?
I did.
What was your process of coming up with resolutions?
So, I don't know if I use the term resolution as much as I'm a deep thinker. I think about a lot of things, maybe to my detriment. My wife reminds me often that sometimes you just need action, stop thinking, and just act.
Yeah. I've never thought about anything.
There's a healthy balance. All I do is think, and I never do.
All I do is win, no matter what.
So I'm a deep thinker. So that's why I think I love the New Year's, because it gives me a chance as the year is winding down. I love to reflect back on the whole year.
Yeah.
And then I love to try to figure out how can I make this new year better? How can I be a better person? Not to get too I try to break them into I have personal goals. Right. I have spiritual goals. And, financial goals and all that sort of stuff.
25% goals.
Be millionaire. So my process is simply it's usually looking back on the year that was and picking an area or two that I would like to improve upon.
Right.
And that's kind of how the resolutions happen. I try not to get into the comparison game of, well, somebody else has got this as their resolution, so I'm going to try to up that. It's like I'm not trying to compare with anybody else. It's like, can I be a better version of myself? And I know this sounds very self-help-ish, but it's at the end of the day, it's like I want to be a better husband. I want to be a better employee. I want to be a better pastor on staff. So how can I do all those
better
things?
Podcaster?
Of course, number one. I'm not sure if that's possible.
Honestly, judging by the ratings, it's going to be difficult. And so, I think...
What about you?
I stopped doing resolutions a few years back.
Okay.
Because I always broke the resolutions. Because the resolution in my mind is not what it was when Jonathan Edwards made his 70 resolutions. Yeah. And I think he stuck to every one of them. And if you've never looked at the 70 resolutions of Jonathan Edwards, you need to take some time to look at it. It is fascinating, the things that he said. I resolve to do this. Now, resolutions are just kind of hopeful.
Yeah, it's a mindset.
Yeah.
It's a goal.
And so I think one of the things that would benefit for me, and really it came from my wife, she was reading this book by Justin Whitmore Early. Okay. Old Jay Early, as we call him. He talked about resolutions are good, but habits are better.
Yeah.
Habits you focus on and you build over a 21-day period that then grow. And so what are some habits that are healthy that you can think of holistically in a year? And so what are the areas that you want to improve on? And so like for me, I put I basically made a spreadsheet. I like a good spreadsheet. Ooh. I think you like a good spreadsheet.
I love a good spreadsheet. I'm the finance guy at church. Are you kidding me?
I love spreadsheets. And so create a spreadsheet that was like a disciple, as a disciple, here are the habits I want to build this year as a husband, as a father, as a pastor, as a podcaster. I put podcaster on there, as a business owner, as a president of a company.
World influencer,
as a global brand myself.
That's it.
How do I want to do this? And then come up with that. And then I had a column that was those things. And then the next column was the vision. Like, what is my vision for these things for this year? And then I had annual things, quarterly things, monthly things, weekly things, daily things. And like, what do I want to do? Like, well, I know that in dating my wife, like when it came to the part about being a husband, I want this year for me and Meredith to have a trip where we go away together, probably to Biltmore. And we want to go someplace. Quarterly, what do we want to do? I want to sit down with Meredith. I want us to talk about our kids and look at how we're doing things as parents and all this kind of stuff. And then, just things like that, so I could have goals that I can build towards, and then come up with a list of habits that would need to take place for those things to happen. And a lot of those things happen in the daily, weekly time frame.
Sure. Yeah, and I get that too. I mean, the trip that's maybe annual, I mean, you can't build that as a habit. So you go to Biltmore 21 days straight, and therefore you'll be more prepared.
But that annual thing down the line, down the line when you get to your daily things. Every day I pray with my wife. Every day we're doing this, and then every week this is what we're doing. Then every month, and then those things build to these annual things that we do. And I think there's also a reverse engineering thing. Like, what do you want to take place? Like, what do you see? And then how do you build there?
Yeah, the process to the destination. It's both.
It's a journey.
I would agree with that. And I think that's where I said, I don't think I necessarily use the word resolutions. Everything you just said to me, I think could be put under the umbrella of those are resolutions. You're resolved to do those things. But if you prefer to call them habits, I like that.
It is not a resolution. It is a habit. You can't spell resolution without spelling the word habit. So they're different.
That's good.
But I also think that the best way that this has been helpful for me is Legos. Legos have been...
Your kids got some Legos for Christmas.
Well, they've had Legos, but they started getting them. And they started getting Star Wars Legos. Yeah. And one of my kids, and I will not name names because they always watch the pod.
Felicity.
They know who they are. And it's only the boys. So they love to play with Legos. One of them is super detail-oriented and will not miss a page. He'll flip through, and he'll do it, and it'll be perfect. And I know I only have to go in there once or twice. The other one, it's every 5 seconds. Dad. And I go, yeah, buddy. He goes, I don't know. It's not working. And I'm like, did you follow all the steps? And I've tried to relate to my boys, both in life, but also in their spiritual walk, of Legos, of it didn't come out of the box like this. So what do you want? What is it? What is the end goal of what you want? You get to see it on the box. You get to see what the end goal is. I said, but every one of these pieces is in our spiritual walk or in our personal walk is each of these pieces are an event, are a moment, are a choice that you make. And ultimately, we are doing and making choices today that ultimately lead us to this end goal and piece this thing together. And so how do we get there? We got to, if we're going to make this specific thing, we're going to have to work towards that end. And
you can't just shake the bag of Legos up and then hope it somehow comes together.
Yeah, tell me how the Big Bang happened, Kyle.
Right.
Like, tell me, let me just shake. It would never happen in a million years. It would never form
But it's
something.
also, you can't leave out any of those Legos.
Nope.
Every piece is necessary, and it takes time and intentionality.
It does. Now, some of those pieces are aesthetic, and some of those pieces are not there anymore because they've been lost. But we got a. This is a side note. Did you get anything for Christmas?
Did I get anything?
Yeah,
I did. I got a few things.
I'm gonna go. I'll tell you my greatest gift. So Meredith, on my behalf. Someone asked Meredith's beloved aunt, like, what can we get Dominic for Christmas? I'm a very difficult person to buy for.
Sure.
Because I don't care about anything.
Which is why I didn't get you anything.
Of course, except friendship. And also I'd like to return it. And she was like, well, what can I get Dominic? Well, Meredith was joking and said, well, a vacuum cleaner. And so on Christmas, I opened up a Shark IQ,
Ooh.
like the little robot vacuum cleaner that goes around your house. It maps your house, and then it comes back to its container, its charger, and the charger sucks out all the dirt, so you don't have to get it out of the robot. It puts it into a can, and you just take the can. And you know what we named it?
No.
Clean Elizabeth. And so Clean Elizabeth, and every time my kids see it, they go, Your Majesty. And
that's great.
And we bow every time it comes out. And so Clean Elizabeth has taken a lot of Legos. And so, yeah. So a lot of aesthetic pieces.
Get them out of the can?
I just throw it all away.
Okay.
If a Lego's left out, there's a rule in my house. If a Lego's left out on the floor, it's thrown away.
That's fair.
Yeah. So what I've set out to do is I have an end goal in mind at the in December of 2025, what I want to be personally, what I want my family to be, and now these daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly tasks and goals are going to hopefully get us there so that the end result is what I would like to see.
I like that. So I mean, how are you doing on that 6 days in? Like, and
none of it's gone well.
Well, and I was gonna say, so with that comes even if you're still 6 days in and you've happened to keep all your habits so far, how do you encourage our listeners who maybe at some point along the year will probably fall short in their things? How do you reconcile when you had these big goals and then the year happens and it just didn't work out that way?
Yeah, I mean,
do you keep going?
Well, you failed.
You start all over.
No, I
sit in the fetal position until the new year.
I think that's the thing about resolutions. Resolutions are one-time things that can break and be done with. I think you're trying to build habits, and so there's already inside building a habit is the understanding of it's going to take a second to get used to it. Any good habit is that way. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if it's fishing. You got to learn how to do it. You know.
Yeah. Well,
and so there's a grace period there.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I think about being a disciple, and my vision this year is just to love Jesus more. And so how do I do that? Well, I read the Bible every single day in some way, shape, or form, with a reading plan, with the listening, all of that. And so I've done well with that. I've also invited the idea of books into my life. I want to do a book a month, and I've done 3 books this month. And so I've really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
And it's been good. And so I don't like to be unbelievably strict on certain things. Now, there's certain things I am super legalistic about because I know that if I don't do them like that, I won't do them. And so my wife and I have a step counter thing, and we've been tracking our own steps.
There you go.
So,
because I mean, full disclosure, while this is the 6th day of the year, this is our first day in the office of this year, first or second day, depending on when some overachievers like to come in.
I can't not work.
Yeah. So it was, I say all that to say I had some resolutions to, and some of the spiritual things were. I've been the last 3 years, I've been able to start and complete a Bible in a year reading plan, which is awesome. I love that. Having a deeper love for God's Word. This year, I wanted to take it a little bit of a step further in that I've been using
also the Quran,
my phone as the Bible reading plan, which is great. Nothing wrong with that at all. Yeah. I personally this year wanted to get into the physical Bible, like my paper one, papyrus, if you will, a scroll, and be able to jot notes in there, to be more intentional with the note taking, a little more meditative thought line happening. And so the first 5 days of the year has been really great. Right. And then now, today is kind of when the rubber hit the road because I was like, I actually have to be somewhere. The last 5 days I've been on vacation. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So today was that day was like, okay, here we go. And with that comes trying to just spend more time in God's presence. That was one of my things of just don't feel so rushed to get out the door and get on to the next thing, but just sit in my presence. Yeah. And so, the first 5 days have been great, and I feel like it's already been very fruitful, and I'm hoping that first 5 days I can remember those in the next 5 days to come and be like, remember how good that was? We can get that every day. It's there. Right. God wants to be met with, communed with. So, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Now, rapid fire, because this is also the fun part. I have 8% battery left on my computer. Okay. So we have to stop this.
Or you could just 8%. Not have your computer.
It's recording all the audio.
Okay, never mind.
And so it'll all be gone. So with that being the case, rapid fire. What big things do you think are going to happen in 2025? Like news things or big things or things that could happen in the world? Like what are the news headlines? What are the things that you think are going to happen in the world?
Okay. Top 3. We go back to the moon.
Whoa. Or just go to it for the first time.
Off the top of my head. That's right. But no, I think with all the manned space flight, I think by the end of this year, there's somebody standing on the surface of the moon
smoking moon dust.
Yeah. And I mean United States. Because I think
who's the Chinese
India or somebody just landed a rover.
Yeah, who's the Indian Elon Musk? Nobody. Yeah. Keep going. Carry on.
I think the war in the Middle East expands greatly. I think Iran, there'll be some sort of world conflict, and maybe that's very vague, but I feel like things aren't going to really settle down between Israel, Gaza, Iran. They're going to keep it. Somebody's going to step too far, and I do believe that there will be an all-out war in the Middle East somehow, maybe dragging Russia into that as well. So it could be what you could call the beginnings of World War III. I don't think by the end of this year, in 12 months, we will be in World War III, but it's one of the ones that 10 years from now, you'll look back at like what started World War III. Right. That event will happen.
This is the murder of Franz Ferdinand.
The event will happen this year.
Wait, who's Franz Ferdinand?
The Boston Massacre. Franz Ferdinand. He was Spanish.
Who's the guy who died?
Yeah, they kicked off.
Was it Franz Ferdinand?
Francis
Ferdinand?
His name is something that has to do with
Ferdinand.
It wasn't like
that's the bull.
Yes.
Okay, but anyways, carry on.
And then, I mean, maybe on a lighter note, because going to the moon in World War III is a lot.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, Baltimore Ravens are gonna win the Super Bowl.
Okay.
You heard it here on January the 6th.
Okay.
Which is about 35 days out.
So, what day is the Super Bowl on?
Sometime in February.
All right. It's normally on my birthday.
Oh.
February 6th. Big day.
Could be. That's why I said it's about 30 days out.
And so, with that being the case, who, if you had to choose, would be your person of the year? Like, who's going to win it? This past year was Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And if you don't know the list of person of the years, you need to go look at it. It is I mean, for better or for worse, it is the list.
Influential people.
Yeah.
So this is where I knew this question was coming, which is why I went the way I did on the other ones. So I feel like with the way everything plays out, specifically in the Middle East, and knowing that they do fairly often like to choose world leaders, I'm going to go with Benjamin Netanyahu.
No way.
Yeah.
I feel like people hate him.
I know, which is why I was making sure we could go back and find people hated that became Times Person of the Year. Yeah. And they've had Hitler and Joseph Stalin and Vladimir Putin have all been Persons of the Year. So this is not an endorsement of what anybody does. Yeah. It's just saying this person.
This is who you think it's going to be.
Zelensky was Person of the Year just a few years ago.
Yeah.
for their fighting against Russia. I just think the way things play out in the Middle East so drastically this year, you could literally have a huge country like Iran against an Israel in an all-out war, and I believe Israel will hold its own and therefore become the person of the year, Benjamin Netanyahu, for leading his people through that. Even though right now he's kind of a hated guy, depending on what side you're looking at.
Yeah, I think those are good. Also scary. I would say this. One, I believe that if I had to look at my top three things, one, a nuclear explosion will happen in 2025. That's one of my thoughts, is that I think a bomb will go off in 2025. And I don't think it may even be a good one, but I think there will be a nuclear explosion. Also, I heard some stuff about potentially nuclear bombs not existing. I don't know. Let me think about it. And so, I think that's pretty big.
Yeah.
I think that I say all that and also say, I think, and I hate this, I think Russia wins against Ukraine. I think they take
at this point, they're just wearing them down.
Yeah, I think
with Trump as the president, it's no secret that probably funding will cease from the United States to Ukraine, which, hey, love it or hate it, I think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
We're not going to continue to send billions of dollars to Ukraine for them to defend themselves, and then NATO may get tired of propping them up.
And I also think that we are going to have a first incident. Now, okay, I have four things. I think we're going to have our first incident with AI that causes government regulation and a crackdown on it. I think we're going to have an issue with AI. I think it's going to do something.
Like privacy breach? Or
no, I think it's going to do something. I think it's going to do something. I think it's going to mess with something. I think it's going to leak something. I think it's going to do something. And then finally, I think that we are gearing up, and this may be my predisposition to Ninjas or Butterflies and listening to some of their stuff, and this is actually one of their takes, so I'm stealing this from them.
Okay.
I think that we are going to see a UFO and potentially at least what looks like an alien, like a living, breathing alien.
I mean, that's
in
a big
2025.
jump from UFO to straight
I think we're going
to.
I think that we are going to have a.
Because I'm with you on the UFO. I mean, we have drones over half the country that we're not quite sure they're the biggest drones we've ever seen.
But I'm talking about, I think that we're going to see something, even if it's not real. I think that an alien invasion type thing would be a killer way to unite the world under one world government. Now, I sound weird saying that, but I think that could be. I think that could be the case.
We had an episode on conspiracy theories a few episodes back. Go check that out to get more context as to what he's talking about.
Yeah, but I think that we're not going to. I think we're going to be like, we just saw an alien, and on TV, and we're going to go, all right, look at my TikTok, and so and my person of the year, Elon Musk.
Yeah, he was a top contender for me.
Yeah.
He won back in 2001, but they have. You can win multiple times.
Yeah, and so I think Elon Musk will win. Yeah.
He was the first person I thought of, but then I just wanted to go to somebody crazy different, and I don't think he ever won. So.
Yeah, I think he's going to win.
Okay. Yeah, I think the reason I'm so on track with that is if we get somebody to the moon this year, I think it's Elon Musk that makes it happen. Mm-hmm. Like the SpaceX program, that's a fascinating.
Nobody else is going to get us there.
Because I think we'll get to Mars very soon. I just don't think that'll happen in the next 12 months. A man on Mars in the next 12 months, because I think it takes 8 months to get there. So unless they launch right now.
And then I hate this, but I don't think Joe Biden lives to the end of the year. I don't know. He's very.
He's so out of the limelight now, though. He can just rest in
cryogenic stasis. Rip. And so, but those are my things. And
Jimmy Carter.
Oh, hey.
Sad passing.
Okay. No. What is?
Nope. There's no.
Good old Jimmy.
The good old land beyond.
Hey, the old president. You know where he lived in Americus, Georgia, or wherever he lived. You know where he was. Yeah. That because you get Secret Service protection your whole life. That his wife would go to the Piggly Wiggly.
Yeah, I remember you telling me.
And
they'd have to sweep the store.
And they'd have to sweep the store because his little Roslyn would go in there. And so, anyways, whether he was a good president or a bad president, he's a president. Yeah. That's a very elite club.
And so, living presidents just got one less.
Yeah. And so.
And he was like, how old was he? 90s?
He's 100 years old.
He was 100. Yeah.
Hey, George W., bro. Bro, he's next.
I haven't seen him around lately.
He doesn't look good. He's going the way of his daddy.
Oh.
He's fine, but he's old.
Yeah, it's now getting to the point where like the presidents that are living are the ones that I've actually heard of.
It's probably going to be, if I had to say that the presidents who are going to die in order, and this is just me telling you that by age. So FBI, watch yourself. I'm not doing anything bad. Clinton, Bush, Obama.
Is Clinton older than Bush is?
I think so.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to go Biden, Clinton, Bush, Obama. Trump will never die. He'll be swept up in a chariot of fire. At least that's what they tell me on Facebook. And so, but
or if there's a nuclear event this year, maybe he has something to do with that, or isn't a part of it.
Who, Jimmy Carter?
The recipient of it. No, Trump.
But all this to say, it's a new year. We're excited about the podcast. We're excited about what that looks like and all the exciting things that will come from this. And so
buckle up.
Yeah, buckle up.
2025 is going to be a
it's going to be a wild one.
We have some great guests on.
Yep.
We always love to hear from you. So let us know if there's something you want to hear us talk about. We'd love to entertain that. No promises.
No.
But we'd love to entertain that.
Yep. It's like the request paper I put at the DJ booth. You can write it down. Doesn't mean I'm going to play it.
Yep.
So,
or as we sing and play, it's like you can request a song. We'll probably try to play it, but no guarantee we'll play it well.
Hey. And so with all that being the case, one of the things that we're going to do this year is we're going to stay hydrated with our friends at Strokes Gained. Travis Key and them boys doing such a great job. And so
it's going to be a big year for Strokes Gained.
It is.
It's feeling like it is.
It is. And so check them out. Check out the link in the description below to see how you can get a special deal right now using our personal URL. And stay connected with everything. Here's the Deal podcast. And we will see you guys next week. Remember, share, like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time on the Here's the Deal podcast.
Happy New Year.